This weekend, we're in Birmingham, Alabama, to restore unity in our country. It's one thing to all be united, but what are we uniting for? A moment that changed my life happened in a movie theater. And it happened with Liam Neeson. At the end of the movie, he took off his ring. And he was standing on the railroad tracks and he said, "How many more could I have purchased with this? How many more lives could I have saved if I just would have sold this?" And he was surrounded by people that he had saved. That really put me, it clarified things. It showed me what was truly important. The movie, of course, was Schindler's List. I actually had to be asked, I was removed from the audience at the end because they had to clean up all the popcorn and everything else on the floor, and they had to ask me to leave because I was paralyzed after the movie and the credits. I sat there and I sobbed like a baby for probably 15 minutes. And I hope that we would never come to a time like this, but we are. We're at a time now where there are 400,000, there used to be 2 million Christians in Syria. There are 400,000 left. We now know we are facing the annihilation of Christians in the Middle East unless we stand. So when we come together for unity, what are we coming together for? 400,000 people. Schindler's List, I would like to propose, as I have said earlier this week, that we develop something new, Unity's List. That we come together and begin to say, we're not going to stand around and we're not going to wait. Right now, the United States of America will not let Christians in. We are moving whole Somali communities, and the State Department is transporting them and planting them in Minneapolis. We are taking Somali Muslims and moving them out of a desperate situation without anybody's understanding of what this means for the state of Minnesota, in moving people who are war-torn and have a completely different outlook of the world, and moving those entire communities, and some of them gang leaders, and I don't mean gangs like we understand gangs, I mean Muslim gang leaders, and moving them into Minneapolis. At the same time, this country has closed its hearts and its doors to these 400,000 people that need to escape. Some countries, Mexico is hopefully deciding this week that they are going to take some. We know we have countries in Europe that are taking as many as 200, but think of that, 200 out of 400,000. I said last week I wanted to raise $1 million to bring in a family, to bring the families in. We can get $25,000. We buy one family of 5. That means with $1 million, we buy 40 families. 40 families with $1 million. That's a long way away. So, what do? We need to raise a lot more than that. And I'd like to suggest this weekend that we raise $10 million to buy families. And then, as I've said before, we go down to the border. And if our government and our State Department won't let these people in, I know they can fly into Mexico, and we fly them into Mexico, and we take them on that big, long bridge that you can walk across right now and say, hey, I'm somebody in trouble, and our Border Patrol can't stop them, and they become citizens of the United States. I doubt we'll ever get to that bridge, because I think just the threat of walking families in will wake this country up and wake our State Department and our the Republicans and the Democrats up enough that we will be able to not repeat the mistakes of World War II. where we turned Jews away and had them face their death at the gas chamber.